because I was never happy and felt like I was dying a slow death every day because I
Yeah.
wasn't using my gifts, which I wasn't. But what you just said was I was recreating every single time, whether it's the environment could change, but I'm still the same. And it wasn't until I changed myself,
Exactly right.
then everything changes for the better.
Exactly right. But, most people, Julie, and I'm sure you were able to do that because you're so self-aware and driven and motivated. But when you say to most people, oh, you just have to change yourself, they don't know what that means or how to do that.
No.
I mean, it's a very general statement. I have to change myself. What do you mean? I have to change my diet? I have to stop drinking? What do you really mean by
Change
that?
my friends,
Right,
change where I live. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, I guess what's a little bit unique about my work is I actually walk people through a step-by-step process that changes their inner condition, changes them from the inside out. And that's my life design course and my transformational leadership.
I love that, Jackie. I love it. And for a lot of reasons, because I've come a good way with this kind of thinking. And I want to throw you a little bit of a curveball, but for you, it won't be a curve at all.
Okay.
Just for the listeners out there. So what has helped me a lot is by talking to my higher self. How do you feel about your higher self directing your steps today? Do you believe in it? Agree with it? What are your thoughts on that?
What a great question. Yes, absolutely. And in some ways, that is what I'm talking about when I say use your mind to train your brain.
Mm-hmm.
The mind, if you will, using that phrase, going back to that phrase, you could also say your higher self, because we cannot locate the mind in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You can't locate the mind in the brain. So you could just say exactly what you just said, that it's the higher self that you start, if you will, dialoguing with, kind of having this schizophrenic conversation where you talk to your higher mind, your higher self, your higher wisdom, and your higher wisdom, your higher mind will guide you in ways that your ego mind or your ordinary state conditioned mind will not.
Will not.
Your ordinary state conditioned mind would have that piece of cake on the dessert tray, even though you're wanting to lose 10 pounds.
Right.
Because that's your habituated behavior, and that's what's going to bring immediate pleasure. Your higher mind says, well, wait a minute here. What's your goal?
Right.
Or even some of the questions I like to have my clients ask, not only what's your goal, but who did you come here to be?
Oh, wow.
What's your highest self-expression? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Ask yourself that question all the time, all throughout the day. What's your highest self-expression?
Yeah.
Here. Yeah. Is it hitting the snooze one more time, or is it getting up and doing the 30 minutes of meditation or exercise, or even just having a healthy breakfast, or spending a few unharried moments with the kids before they go out the door? Like every moment is an opportunity to ask that question.
What do you think about those of us who have intuition, high intuition, empathic levels that are very specific, and a lot of times this is easy for us to grasp, and I think we would be easier clients for you, but a lot of other people find it difficult because we're kind of always in that 30,000 foot view. It's harder for us to come down, whereas the other group of clients who don't have as much intuition, harder to go up.
Yep.
You get that 30. What do you think about that?
Break it down and get really concrete. So for whatever reason, about 15 years ago, I ended up getting a whole bunch of coaching clients who are in the design, build, remodel industry. So they at some point were carpenters and then became business owners in high-end design, build, remodel. So I've had a ton of clients over the years who are basically high-end carpenters. They're so not generally, stereotypically the most insight, intuition-oriented people. All but one of them were men. And so I have learned over the years to just take these kinds of principles of how to talk to your higher mind and make it really practical. So things like this morning, I had a call with one of my guys this morning, and I had him write his mission statement. And he didn't go far enough. Like, he didn't make it expansive enough. And I said, I want to push you and challenge you a little bit. You've got words like dedication and loyalty. I said, but you don't have the word excellence in there. I said, what about that? He's like, oh, yeah, no, I totally, yeah, because I know the guy. I've been coaching him quite a while. He's like, yeah, no. I was like, okay, great. And then 5 minutes later, we had a problem that had come up at his company. And I said, okay, if you're applying, I commit myself to bringing excellence in all things to this problem. What does it look like? And he immediately gave me a solution.
Because that's such a great question, no matter what you're applying it to. It's like
exactly.
Immediately you're reaching for the stars. You're reaching for, or another idea would be, what kind of impact do you want to make? That's a big question, right? For a little human, no matter, I always think little humans, but those are the type of questions that will bring you up into the stratosphere of, well, wait a minute, let's take the chains off and let's really think about this. And do you find that people have a lot of boundaries and chains that they put on themselves? Like, this is how I see myself. I've been a carpenter for my whole life, and I feel like I can't get out of it, even though I really want to.
That's an interesting question. I certainly see that, I would say, in my social circles, my racquetball club or my basketball team or maybe some family members. But I will say, and you're going to know this as well, if you just said that to me, some people might be a little bit, uncertain about what I'm about to say, but you're going to get it. So the thing I want to say to that is, most people will gravitate toward me who are ready to grow and change.
Yes.
So my clients don't necessarily come to me like, oh, I can't, or I've always been this way. Sometimes I hear that. And then my response is simply, yeah, but is that the highest and best of what you're capable of or committed to?
Yes. Absolutely.
So you can't say that in social circles so much because people think you're obnoxious. But but as a coach, or as a trainer, I'm getting paid to ask those questions.
Absolutely.
So that's how I help people think differently about it. Yeah, okay, you've always been that way, but is that the highest and best of what you're capable of or what's possible for you?
That's awesome. We are almost out of time, Jackie, and I knew this was going to go fast.
Wait, we just got started, though.
I know. What I always ask this question, what would you like to leave the listeners with? What would you like to impart to them about either what you do or about how they can change their lives, whatever you feel called?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a great question. So, some people might be listening to this conversation and be like, well, that's all fine for you guys, you spiritual hoity-toities who are self-employed and, have this lovely life. But, screw you. My life is difficult, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I want to say to the person who's in those shoes today. I want to say that these principles first and foremost changed my life, that I have had a long history of addiction, chronic depression, domestic violence, and even homelessness in my life. So I didn't start with this like hoity-toity, lovely life that I now have and deep and broad understanding of human potential. I started like, kind of average struggling gal on the street. My mom was widowed when I was very young. I was raised in a lower middle class family without a lot of means. And so wherever you are in life, what I want to say to you is the struggle is worth it and you can change your life. So I don't want you to hear what I've said to Julie today as some, pie in the sky platitude. This is a practical approach to changing your life and a practical approach to elevating yourself to the highest and best of your human and spiritual potential. And that's what I'm committed to. And I've walked that path myself. So I invite others to, get to know me better, get to know my programs, because there's real possibility here for transforming anyone's life.
That's awesome. And I would have never guessed that. Speaking with you and looking at what you've done, I would have never, ever guessed that. So that gives, I think, a lot of listeners hope, because there's always time and moments to change. No matter, your past does not equal your future.
Right.
No matter what. I just heard that actually this morning, and I was thinking that's so true. So thank you so much for being here. My guest today was Jackie Woodside. She has 3 best-selling books: Money Vibe, Your Financial Freedom Formula, Whether You Have Money or Not, Calming the Chaos, Managing Your Energy Rather Than Your Time, and Time for a Change. As I mentioned, she does lead spiritual retreats. She has professional development training and keynote speeches. I will have all the links to reach her in the show notes. And I can't thank you enough for being here, Jackie. And I'm thrilled that we got the chance to talk because I know that this information will help so many people. And
so great. It's just I just so appreciate what you're doing in the world, that you're bringing these thoughts out to people that I might otherwise never have the opportunity to reach. So thank you, Julie, for so much for being here, collaborating. And, we've got big missions and let's go.
Absolutely. Let's go. So remember, everyone, stay present, step into your power, and never give up on your dreams. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to know more about a guest on our show, please contact me at jsalant5@outlook.com. That's J-S as in Sam, A-I-L-L-A-N-T as in Tom, 5@outlook.com. And remember, stay present, step into your power, and never give up on your dreams.